Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video Fat Phil, and today we're going to be taking a look at 7 characters that want more offense than you think. Now, in some of these cases it may be like, oh yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer that they like offense, but I don't think everybody recognizes why sometimes and why it's so important, and they need to have a lot more than you think. So go ahead, like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Let's go ahead in here and let's grab this introduction, guys. Thank you so much to Moonborn for creating this for us. I mean, this thing is just absolutely... Alright, there we go, guys. So, I was kind of talking over it. I apologize. So, let's get in here. Let's talk about 7 characters. I'm still trying to work out how to do that. Number 1, Korr-sarth Leia. What is not to love about this character? Everybody's favorite bounty hunter. And this kind of goes in tandem where everybody talks about wanting to mod Skiff-Guard Lando for offense, but not enough about Leia. Remember, with Korr-sarth Leia, she deals the damage from her thermal detonators based on her offense. So the more offense she has, the more damage those do when they explode. So we want to ramp up her special offense. Remember, she's special offense. We want to ramp that up as much as humanly possible. So she also likes a lot of speed, and this is where I think players kind of get, I don't want to say go wrong, but they put a lot of speed on her and then they neglect the offense secondaries. We want to have offense secondaries when we can, and then I've opted for offense primaries on both the triangle and the cross with a potency secondary, getting some extra potency where we can. She has a very high base potency, so adding a little bit more doesn't hurt, but we definitely like that offense where we can. I think it adds a lot more to her as a character. I think when Leia doesn't have enough offense, where this team really struggles is on defense. I think offensively, her not having as much offense doesn't cause as many problems for you because you get to determine when she throws those thermal detonators, who Jabba eats with the rancor, that kind of stuff. But when they're on defense, the more offense she has, the much harder it is for teams to beat you. Again, I think sometimes we get confused where it's like, oh, well, I'm using them on offense, so I don't, I can just manage it that way. But when they're on defense, man, you need to make sure that they're really well modded, because her having a lot of offense can stop guys like Supreme Leader Kylo Ren or Jedi Master Kenobi in their tracks, because those assists and those thermal detonators killing off all the ads, giving everybody time to focus on the GL. Next is Asajj Ventress. So offense can make her sneaky good. So she's one where it's like, well, don't you really want health on her? So it's her unique here. So in her unique, whenever an ally or enemy is defeated, Asajj gains 35% turn meter, 15% offense, critical chance, and 5% max health stacking until the end of the encounter. So that offense that stacks is crucial, right? It is so good to have that offense. And so she's a character that I've really tried to start modding for more offense where I can. I've got a critical damage set, but offense, triangle, and cross on her. But if you can get that offense percent on her, you can do some really, really good stuff, because how it's going to help you, get better is that she's going to start dealing more damage faster. One of the big things with the Night Sisters that you'll often see is early on in the game, they're, before they gain all that max health, before she's really ramped her damage, they're very vulnerable, right? If you can get some of those early plays out, it is horrible. But if she's got a lot more offense, she doesn't need as much, she doesn't need to ramp nearly as much, and that allows her to get out more damage in that battle. And then as she ramps, it obviously increases in value that much more. So very much something that makes her sneaky good. I think she gets neglected a little bit because we pay attention to modding old Daka or Marin, but getting her with a lot of offense can really, I don't want to say scare, but kind of sneaks up on you, and all of a sudden she crits you and you're like, what the heck, where did that come from? And it's because she's, ramped a little bit and you have this awesome base. All right, so everybody knows that Grand Inquisitor and Reva, they definitely kind of like some of that offense, right? Reva obviously likes health, but Seventh Sister is one who can benefit a lot from offense. Now, I don't have a ton of offense on mine. I definitely do not have a ton of offense. I've tried to get it on the secondary where I can, but I definitely lack a little bit, right? Like, I don't have it everywhere. I've tried to find it. Her mods kind of need a little bit of adjustment, but they work. But the reason why she likes that offense percent is because whenever another Inquisitorious ally uses an ability during their turn, she assists. right? So she's constantly assisting. And I know you're like, oh, but she's not a damage dealer. But every single time they use an ability, she's assisting. So if you can ramp her damage, get her to deal 2,000, 3,000 more damage over the course of a battle, her damage output can go through the roof because she's going to assist every single time somebody does something. So one of those things where, again, kind of similar to Asajj, where it makes her sneaky, you don't often recognize the damage that she does because you don't really have any offense on her. But you start putting offense on her, and if you watch that, think about the Grand Inquisitor event where I modded her for a lot of offense for that, and it made the battles so much smoother. So don't be afraid to stack some offense percent on the secondary. I wouldn't go as far as a offense set. Like, I still think that she likes speed, and mine's not even that fast. But very much think this is a character where if you can put a little bit more offense on her, those assists hit so much harder. And because you're going to be able to ramp that damage, it actually means that you could put more survivability on your third sister, Grand Inquisitor, and deal more damage with her. Again, it's the combined effort of all of that 3,000 damage per, additional per hit adds up. All right, so Echo, obviously everybody knows, you got to mod Echo for offense. But Arc Trooper is one that sometimes I think people don't fully recognize that this guy needs an absurd amount of offense. And it's because of his blaster turret. So the blaster turret here deals true damage, right? The object's stats scale with the summoner's stats. And it can only be summoned to the ally slot, right? Well, the guy who summons it is Arc Trooper. He is the one that summons it. So the turret's damage will scale off of his. So we want to mod him for as much offense as possible. So that way when he summons this turret, it's dealing more damage. Now, mine doesn't have the greatest mods in the world. He's got a lot of speed and not as much offense percent. Something I've tried to work on, unfortunately, just to kind of, his mods definitely, especially this one, like I've got to find another home for that because it's fast, but it doesn't really help out. But anyway, all that said, right? Obviously, my mods aren't perfect. But Arc Trooper absolutely loves offense because of that turret. But Fives is the real hero here. Fives loves offense where you can find it, right? Any place we can put offense on Fives, we want it there. And that is because of two big things in his account. Or in his kit. So number one, right? Fives will sacrifice, right? If another 501st Clone Trooper ally would be defeated while Fives is active, they recover 100% health and Fives is defeated. If he's defeated this way, they gain his max health, protection, speed, and offense stats in addition to their own until the end of battle. So Fives is going to boost the entire 501st when he sacrifices. So the more of those stats that he has, particularly that offense, the more he's going to share. But the big reason here, number one, he's got the counter chance. But Fives is going to gain 15% turn meter whenever another Clone Trooper ally takes damage. And if Echo is present, Fives has 100% defense when taunting, or deals 100% more damage when not taunting. So, think about all these things coming into his kit. So he's got counter chance. He's going to be gaining turn meter, which means he takes a lot of turns. Well, while he's not taunting, he's dealing more damage, which means the more offense he has, again, that 100% coming into play. Then think about it that, you inflict speed down, and if the enemy already had it, attack again. So very quickly, you're like, why would you mod Fives for offense? And then you watch him double tap on his basic, dealing 100% more damage each time, gaining all these turns because of the turn meter gain. And it makes sense why you mod him for offense, because it's not that he's dealing, 100,000 damage on a basic. It's the fact that he's going to be dealing 30k, 15, 16 times throughout a match. That gets pretty absurd. I don't know that everybody recognizes that about Fives' kit, that you put that two and two together. We think about the offense, or we think about the health and the defense and the protection. But the offense is really important for him, especially because he shares it. Notice he doesn't share defense when he dies, but he does share the protection, health, and offense. So he is one that if you can find some additional offense for, put it on him. And again, what you guys have noticed about particularly these two characters right here, we're not using offense. Same thing with even like Korr-sarth Leia at the top. We're not using offense sets. You're just trying to get the offense where you can, whether it's on, particularly like with these two where we're just going for the secondary stats. You'd be surprised how much offense you can get out of some secondaries. Remember, it's a really good stat to get on the secondary. The more you can stack there, the better you do. All right, Dash and Kuiil are next. And again, it's more than 7, but it's like 7, categories, right? So we've got Dash and Kuiil. So Dash, I think, for obvious reasons, right? Like, he's got his amazing abilities here. We want to be dealing as much damage as possible with Dash Rendar, right? But the big thing here is Scoundrel allies are going to gain, the health, potency, and offense. So yeah, like that's why we like Dash Rendar. Again, like he is very good. We love Dash. But with Kuiil, this is one where you've got to understand Kuiil's unique Zeta. At the start of battle, other droid and Scoundrel allies gain 40% of his max health, offense, potency, and then his protection. But look at that, 40% of his offense. If you can get those offense secondaries on Kuiil, he's going to share 40% of those stats. Now, I get that he doesn't have a high base offense, right? Like, Kuiil does not have a high base offense. But the more he's got, the more he can share with everybody else. And so now Dash or Hondo, some of these guys gaining 40% of his stats. Oh, man, like, you ever wonder why you see Kuiil lead with Han and Chewie? It's because of that unique Zeta, that he's juicing their stats to the point that they're just going to deal absurd amounts of damage. So they're kind of two of these characters that, you slip under the radar a little bit. You mod them for that offense, and man, they go through the roof. Again, another character where I would still keep him fast. I would not mod him for offense sets, but you put those secondary stats on there, and he can do some really good things. All right, next, we've got Lord Vader, our Lord Failure for all you people who, hate him. So, Maul obviously loves offense, right? Everybody loves to mod Maul for offense. Now, when you're running with Lord Vader, you want protection instead of offense percent as the primary, because again, the way that his, seething rage works, his damage here, there's a way to explain the way that this works. Where's it at? I know it's in here somewhere. Yeah, Anguish, right? So he takes damage equal to 2% of his max health per stack of Anguish and gains that much offense until the end of their turn. This can't be defeated. So the more health that he has with Lord Vader, which his protection turns into health, he deals a lot more damage with that ability. So that is something where I often see Maul, and I wanted to kind of address it here. But Lord Vader is the one who really likes a lot of offense. This is because of his ultimate ability here, where he's going to gain 75% mastery when 100% ultimate charge was used. And inside of his mastery happens to be damage, right? Which, of course, is his, physical damage, since that's the kind of attacker that he is. So where you can, if you can find some offense percent and put it on him, it pays dividends for you down the line. I don't have it up here. I've got a lot of defense percent, but getting as much offense on your Lord Vader is really important, especially as he hits more and more ultimates. One of the biggest problems I see with Lord Vaders is they either go all in on that protection and they have no offense, and so it takes them forever to ramp and they never become a big threat. Or they go all in on offense and then they just get countered. Excuse me. Gosh, I voice cracked like I was 12. Then he gets countered by a lot of those GLs that otherwise might struggle against one where it's got a little bit of everything. So you want to take advantage of the offense on him where you can, because it will ramp over the battle every single time he's gaining that 100% mastery. He starts putting out some crazy numbers. I think everybody loves to talk about Supreme Leader Kylo Ren ramping, but Lord Vader ramping gets even scarier in my mind because he just starts going off on people. Last but not least, Emperor Palpatine. We all love to have our Starkiller modded for offense. Everybody knows to put offense on him, right? You gotta have your offense on Starkiller, but not enough people, myself included, recognize that putting offense on Emperor Palpatine can make a big difference in his ability to counter Rey. Think about it like this, right? We talk about, oh yeah, well you need Starkiller because he's constantly assisting. Well, who's he constantly assisting? Constantly assisting this guy. So if you can get Palpatine to put out more damage, right? Like every single turn, if you can get as much offense on him as you can, and again, like I said, mine is bad, right? Again, mine is bad. Please don't use mine as it. I've got 1 offense percent secondary on him. Like, mine is bad. But if you can get that offense percent on him, and speed mod is also not good. I'm debating putting an offense set on him because I could probably get one that's just as fast as that speed set since it's trash. But all of that said, my Palpatine is not well modded. I really need to fix it. It bothers me. I shouldn't have shown it. But Palpatine takes so many turns in any fight that he's in with Mara Jade. Right? Mara Jade doesn't take that many turns. Like, she takes the first turn, she takes that second one, but then once Palpatine gets going, he's constantly using that basic ability. If you can ramp his offense, he becomes a lot more of a threat, similar to the way that I was explaining Seventh Sister, where it's not so, and Fives, it's not so much that their single hit is dealing a lot of damage. It's the fact that they're using their ability so many times that adding 2,000, 3,000 damage to that number. You think you use your basic with Palpatine how many times in that Rey fight? If you can use that, if you can get his offense up, a little bit higher, and he's going to use that, 10, 12, 15 times. I mean, and again, I don't know exact numbers. I'm sure it could be more than that. That's a lot of extra damage. That's a lot of damage just from a little bit of secondaries. Again, you're still keeping his primary stats the way that we want. Like, I'm not saying that you go ahead and mod this dude like your Star Killer. I would still try to take advantage of his kit, which is very max protection oriented. But if you can get him to put out more damage on his basic through the use of secondary stats, this character can deal a lot of damage. So those characters right there, guys, are all ones that I think want more offense than we think. And almost every single one of them, I think Asajj is the only one here that, like we mentioned, obviously ARC Trooper would want offense sets, but Asajj is the only one here who I would say actually wants an offense set. Everybody else going to benefit from speed, health, or other kind of stats, but they want that offense on the secondary, and it makes them far more deadly and gives your account a lot better chance of getting holds in Grand Arena and Territory Wars. So let me know your thoughts. Like, subscribe, comment. I love you all. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Cheers, my friends.